What's up, everybody? We're on a podcast now. I'm Alex, and this video, I want to talk about Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, do a spoiler cast. I'm probably going to do a couple of videos, actually, on this game over the next couple of days, and, there'll be condensed videos, just kind of to the point, with maybe moderate to severe rambling. But in this live stream, kind of wanted to just air out my thoughts. I beat this game last night, and just kind of go over what I think of it. And then, again, over the next coming days, for people that missed the live stream or want like a condensed version, I'm going to just re-record stuff and really get to the meat of things, over the next couple of days. But, to start things out, I think Lost Records is a solid game. I think, I kind of go back and forth with Tape 2. Tape 2, I think, is better than Tape 1. And I also think it has its own problems, or different problems than Tape 1. And maybe that's something I'll kind of lead with, in the videos that I'll do. It's the impactful moments of Tape 2, I do believe actually hit. I actually did feel things. And I think even some stuff of like, there's a little bit of to me, some of the characters, even like the acting of some of the characters wasn't very strong in Tape 1. I actually think a lot of that stuff is fixed in Tape 2. It's just, I'd say, pacing, some of their decisions to like not answer things. Like there's a couple other, and it's kind of interesting because I think it improved upon a lot of the things I wanted improved from Tape 1. But then it also actually did some things worse than in Tape 1. So it's like, okay, they took some steps in the positive direction and some in the negative. Let me just say, before it gets too close, I actually don't know for sure what I played Tape 2 through. But I do say, Don't Nod did give me the review code for at least Tape 1. They did give me the code for Tape 2, but I played it after the game release. So I'm not honestly sure if I played it on PS Plus or through them. But I do want to thank them for the code, and we'll go from there. Zion, what's going on? Nick, good to see you guys. Just kind of rambling through my thoughts on Lost Records. We can generally talk about whatever you guys want, but I do want to kind of keep it centered on Lost Records, here and there. But we can, if there's a pressing concern, the switch to. But I do kind of want to talk about just, what was going on with Lost Records. Solid game. Solid. I think it's the thing is, because everybody that I always see on Twitter, they always talk about, okay, this is the return of Don't Nod, or they're back and better than ever. I don't want to say violently disagree. I just massively disagree with that. I think that Don't Nod has kind of been back for a while, and I think in some ways they never really left. If you look, Twin Mirror was not very good, but it was fine. I do think this is probably better than Twin Mirror. Tell Me Why. I actually really enjoyed Tell Me Why, and I think I had severely low expectations for Tell Me Why. So when it came to Lost Records, I had severely high expectations. I actually would put it on similar territory with that one, personally. I haven't played it, but I don't know. Yeah. It's tough. An interactive story, it gets weird. There's definitely some weird moments in Tape 2. I won't spoil. I guess I did call this spoiler cast. If there's any like actual questions or concerns in the chat about spoilers, we'll go there. But beyond that, I don't want to spoil it if people are, listening that haven't played it. Or maybe I'll just kind of make it known, okay, we're going to talk about spoilers. But I think for at least the first couple minutes here, we can keep it spoiler free. The physical release, I think there is going to be a physical, right? I think they talked about maybe sometime over the summer. I think this would be pretty cool to have physically, and I think there's opportunity that you can do a couple just like collectibles or whatever physically. They did a really good job even with Life is Strange 1 when they did the pirate, when they did the soundtrack. So I quite liked that. But yeah, I don't know. I think personally, to me, were they in need of like needing to come back? Not really. I think Banishers Ghost of New Eden runs laps around this game. In actually every single way. I think it's a better written story. I think it's a better world. I think it's better characters. I think everything about Banishers, quite frankly, is better than Lost Records. It's not even close, actually. But Lost Records, I think, kind of keeps the trend of like, okay, like they're solid, and it's a different team, so it's like, okay, they can do more than one thing. And Banishers also freaking bombed, so in terms of sales, so you're not gonna get a Banishers 2, so we might as well hope that we're gonna get a Lost Records 2. I guess that's where I'm at here. Let's see. I did see that. But I don't know much about that game. I saw that on the Discord, but I don't know much about it. I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry. Liam, what's going on, buddy? It's not nearly as good as The Wolf Among Us. I think it'd be interesting to do like a ranking of, like Wolf. I mean, my all-time peak. I think you have to put Telltale's The Walking Dead season 1, right? I actually like all of them. I think season 3 is the weakest, but I think actually season 3 of The Walking Dead is still pretty good. Season 2 freaking rocks, and season 4 is pretty okay of The Walking Dead as well. Tales from the Borderlands, I think, is one of the best episodic games ever created. Life is Strange is one of the best episodic games ever created. So I definitely don't think Lost Records would be in my top 5. I feel like at best it'd be 6 or 7. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat some of those games. Yeah, no. It's whenever you see the last day of a quarter, so September, December, March, June, if it's the last day of any of those months, that just means it's the end of the quarter. So yeah, that just means they don't know when it's coming out. I imagine hopefully by like the fall, I did not see that. I'll have to look at it. I'll have to look. And I've played Banjo-Kazooie just a little, not too much. I am streaming with Christy tomorrow, but we're not going to stream at all next week. But we will be here tomorrow. Got to pick a game, actually. Oh, dear. Which did you enjoy more? The first 2 chapters of Double Exposure or Tape 1? Man, that's a good question. So, well, I actually like Tape 2 better than Tape 1. I think Tape 2 is actually... Tape 1 has they do complement each other rather okay. And I think I would let go the idea. Remember, we talked about leading into Tape 2. They have to give payoff. They have to deliver. They have to, Tape 1's very slow, and I think purposely slow. Tape 2 has to be, faster and kind of filled with just more. It was, and that's why, just the first couple minutes of this live stream, I said Tape 2 did a lot of what it needed to do, but it also created its own problems. So like Tape 2 does go faster, is weirder, it's wackier. It's like it almost feels like a different game, in terms of like just kind of what they're going through. But I think it's actually pretty weak. I guess like in the pacing. The pacing is all over the place. I think, again, like the questions that they kind of left unanswered, I'm not a huge fan of. It's very predictable. I mean, we saw this stuff coming, I think, in Tape 1. Almost everything that happened in Tape 2, I think you could have predicted almost like an hour or 2 into Tape 1. So Tape 2 kind of has its own problems, right? As for Double Exposure, I actually liked it up until episode 5 or chapter 5. Like chapters 1 through 4, I thought were good. So I don't know. I think because Life is Strange, I think for the first 4 tapes was rather okay, and then chapter 5, maybe they said just tapes right now. I'm trying to say like which one I like more. I actually don't know. I don't think Lost Records is as good as a lot of people are making it out to be. In terms of like being like this elite, better than life type thing. I think it's fine. I think it's solid, but I don't know. I think it's probably more consistent than Life is Strange Double Exposure, but it also has its highs and lows, just like Double Exposure has its highs and lows. So it's tough. And there you go. The next one. This game was better than Double Exposure. I personally don't think it's too far better. But I don't think that's a negative, at least for me personally. Maybe that would be crazy to some people. Maybe I should do a video on that. I don't know. UK replay when it comes out. I need to play like all those rare collection titles, but maybe depends on when it comes out. Remember when I told you I was? Oh, I do. I do remember you said that. The game for me is an 8 out of 10. There we go. Nice. So you've completed it. Very good. Now you do Double Exposure, and then you can tell people. You can tell people what you think about it. Have you watched Invincible? No. I've seen clips of Invincible, but I didn't. I've never watched it from beginning to end. Okay, we might go into spoilers here. So including like the next comment. So just be aware. Be aware if you. This is a possibility, by the way, but be aware if you're scared here. That comment right there. Corey's an interesting character. I mean, definitely the Abyss changed him. I like that idea, and I like that like the seeds of that were planted in Tape 1, and then Tape 2 gets like weird, right? And there's also like different things that can kind of happen with him in tape 2. But when he was wearing like the mask and he's just kind of like a psycho, he's scary. He's like legitimately scary. I think his acting is kind of all over the place. So I don't think that helps him. But yeah, he's an interesting character. Luna, stop. Yeah, I do sometimes. It's not a hostage or kidnapped. When I was doing like the car videos, can you stop her from barking? Can you stop her from barking? Yeah, I'll probably cover some Summer Game Fest stuff of like the certain games that I'll do probably a 3-4 parter of that. Probably. I did see the Switch 2 accessories, not pleased with it, but at the same time, I'm getting I'll probably just be getting the Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart, so it won't really matter. But I'm not paying like $95 for Joy-Cons or whatever that price is. Expect new leadership announcement I will. I will expect it. And hopefully they got something cooking real good there. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I think generally Lost Records was, I think, for a long time looked at as like this is going to be like that savior type game. And then when Double Exposure actually came out, and to many people, including myself, like it was either mid or like below, right? Average or below. I think many people turned to Lost Records as like, okay, this has to be, something really special. I don't think it was really special. I think it was a solid tale. And I definitely want to see it continue. Like, I think because it's kind of I guess I'm trying to think like, okay, if you had Don't Nod do like Life is Strange 1, right? And you think about like the scope of that, I think the scope of Life is Strange 1 is kind of bigger than Lost Records, but Lost Records is almost has more potential because they actually left more unanswered. And I mean, like, they never explained truly like the storm in Life is Strange. They never explained truly Max's powers, and I'm fine with that. I'm also fine with the abyss not being explained. Okay, so those kind of parallels I'm actually cool with, but it's interesting because like it feels kind of smaller scale, but also I feel like it's got more ramifications because you think about like what the abyss does and like what is it and how did it come to be, and what's going on with certain characters that were consumed by it or gave themselves up by it, or whatever. It almost has more like depth, more like lore to it that they could explore in future games. But at the same time, that's kind of a risk because they did leave so much unanswered in this game, and like, you're buying this game, we're not buying this game to then play another game, so that's a tough one. Yeah, they I think Square Enix maybe dictates, hey, we need to have a new Life is Strange game every so often. I mean, what, it was 2015, I forget, maybe Life is Strange 2 was 18. I think it was 2015, 18, 21 was True Colors, and 24 was Double Exposure. So pretty much every 3 years, like almost exactly. My top 5 SpongeBob games. I don't think I need to do a ranking of SpongeBob games right now. Battle for Bikini Bottom would definitely be number 1, and then that Curse of the Flying Dutchman would probably be number 2. But I've played a bunch of them, but I don't think more than 2 or 3 of them really stands out. I think the God of War thing. I think the God of War Greece thing is real, and that would be the fall game. Apparently, for WB Games, they brought someone else on that was already a WB. Oh, where's people getting this info? I should look this up. Maybe that is. I haven't seen that at all today, so I'll have to look into that. But yeah, they probably they probably would hire from within, and it's like, is anything going to change? And also with Zaslav, or however you say his name, like, what are you supposed to, what do you expect? I don't know if I ever expect major changes. Well, we'll see. I played Until Dawn. Until Dawn's a phenomenal. I might play it for the 10 because it turns 10 in August, so I might try that. Why are there so many attempted jump scares? It's a horror game, so it's a very purposely like cliche trope horror game. So it's got the jump scares and all that jazz. The movie sounds scary. The movie sounds like pretty legitimate, that Until Dawn movie. So that's something I definitely want to. I'm not going to see it in theaters. I don't think that's necessary, but I do want to check out the Until Dawn movie. I didn't even watch it. I just heard that the direct was pretty much just the what we've already seen. So I figured it didn't sound like anything actually happened there. Oh, I never actually watched that interview from beginning to end. Never actually did it. But yeah, I mean, I want to say, um, I'm thinking like, should I give away the character? So in tape one of, oh, hold on. Oh, there we go, another comment. I want to get to, because there's one character that I actually think significantly improved in Lost Records, and I kind of want to talk about that. I'll do that in a second. Yeah, the last hour, there's like 4 boss fights in a row that punished me, and there's like 4 of them, I think, at the end. But Stellar Blade's such a rewarding game. Cat, I'll just say that. Cat, I really believe at times, I just don't think, whether it's the writing or the acting, I just don't think it's very good in tape 1. Tape 2, I actually most likely the best character in tape 2, like by a lot. And it actually impressed me. And then in terms of like when the game wants you to actually feel things, although some things were predictable, other things like the payoff of those things, which relates to Cat, actually were extremely like good. So it's interesting that, like I said, I mean, in terms of like what it fixes, I think to me, it fixed her. Because I think she was a fine character. I just don't think it was really consistent. I don't think she was a consistent character. But I feel like tape 2 definitely did the job there. Yeah, I'm too scared to watch Final Destination live in a movie theater, but I'll probably watch either highlights of it or I'll watch it later. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2 is probably maybe the biggest one. I'm hoping don't get details. Oh, like he won't get. He always kind of pumps it up. I feel like we'll get some details on Summer Game Fest. He'll go through his casual like 10, 20 games that are going to be there. Like that will happen. So I don't think you can only have so many surprises. But yeah, Cat, I feel like is a vast improvement. Corey, I feel like kind of is a more inconsistent. I actually really like Dylan as a character. And then Nora Swan Autumn, I think they're all pretty solid. I think I got the worst ending is another thing with Lost Records. I'm pretty confident that. Well, actually, I looked it up, and what I saw is there is something that's considered a bad ending and a good ending, and I got the bad one. But yeah, I got the bad one, but I actually feel quite okay with it. And I think it makes it shorter by maybe like a couple minutes, but I did watch some of the good stuff, or like if things don't go that way. And I can see where I messed up. I can definitely see, but you know what? I did what I thought Swan would do, in the moment. Try not to dox myself, then. Oh, well, there you go. That contradicts with Schreier and what we talked about earlier. To be honest, it's okay. Don't get yourself in trouble. / it's not that big of a deal if I know or don't know. It's just a person. They okay things for sure, and that's a big issue. But we need to see like real change from WB Games, And I don't know, I don't know how much power that individual would even have. Plus, they already ruined so much of like Wonder Woman is not ever gonna happen. Hogwarts Legacy DLC, which I guess I didn't care too much about, but specifically Wonder Woman. You're not getting that back from the dead. You can't bring Monolith back, things like that. Mind's Eye comes out doesn't that come out in June? I really just don't think that game has impressed me very much. Yeah, that Daredevil is one that I still want to watch over the next. I think once Claire Obscure comes out and I play through that and beat it, then I'll do uh, Daredevil. Like I'll watch that. Still upset about Wonder Woman. Me too. I think about it not every day, maybe like every week. I think about Wonder Woman. Okay, I want to talk just a few other I want to talk a couple positives about Tape 2. I mentioned the weirdness, I mentioned the kind of like more trippiness to it. I also would like to shout out the music because I think the music was incredible, and that's something that I really do. I mean, when you think of Don't Nod, I think that's a big part of it, kind of that indie just indie, I would say rock scene, but I think it's also just indie in general. Music was super freaking good in Tape 2. I think it was probably not the best part of it, but there was a couple long moments of like cut scenes, and I think towards the end of Tape 2 where the music really carried it, and very, very good. Very good. So I want to give them props with the music and even visuals. I think they did a really good, I mean, like, some people are going to relate to the characters or like the looks or not like the looks. I think they look all pretty good. And I think the camera work is a little weird, but I think they were trying to do that because of the Abyss at times. But I think overall these characters and just the world in general, very pretty looking game. Very, in terms of the audio, very good. Those are two pretty strong moments as well. I did see the screams. I did reviews of all of them on this channel. I did reviews of season 1, 2, and then when MTV took it over which was terrible. That was a terrible season. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I would bet severely against that. There's no way. There's no way. And maybe I can will that into existence by jinxing it, but there's absolutely no way Wonder Woman would be picked up and continued. Like that's over. So that's you can't win that one. That one's just gone. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Spider-Man. I really don't have any care or interest in watching it, but I believe you. But yeah, I definitely want to watch Daredevil. And really that's the only show I think. I mean, eventually I want to watch that Severance because everybody talks about Severance, right? So I definitely want to watch that, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I also don't know when I'm truly going to be able to watch um I don't even know what I was saying. Daredevil. Oh, yeah. I don't think any of us would stand a chance, buddy. I'm pretty sure we don't stand a chance. Oh, boy. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so my thoughts on Life is Strange 2. Okay, no, I would put Life is Strange 1 at number 1. Man, this would be kind of tough. So 1 is like untouchable. Then I got to think like what's my actual Life is Strange? I think back, man. Life is Strange 1. Life is Strange. I want to say my gut tells me to say Before the Storm, but I don't think I don't know. We'll say this. We'll say Life is Strange 1, Life is Strange True Colors, Life is Strange. No, then Lost Records. So Lost Records would be 3, and then closely behind would be Before the Storm, and then Double Exposure, and then 2. So 1, True Colors, Lost Records, Before the Storm, Double Exposure 2. I think that's how I would. Because, to me, there's only one bad Life is Strange. There's only one bad Life is Strange game, and it's Life is Strange 2. It's just one that I can't get. I cannot say that I like it. And I like a lot of Life is Strange Double Exposure. I like a lot of. I mean, there's also parts I don't like, but I mean, like, the good does outweigh the bad. I think including Lost Records, easily the good outweighs the bad in every single one, except for, in my opinion, 2. So that's got to be last. Life is Strange 1 is untouchable, and then the rest you can kind of have. Like I think I've only played True Colors once. I've only played True Colors when it originally came out, and I really loved it. In fact, I believe at the time I called it my game of the year with Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm pretty sure 2021 was Guardians as well as Life is Strange True Colors. So in my head, True Colors ages really well. And I did play Before the Storm, like somewhat, maybe in the last 2-3 years. That game ages rather well in my head. So yeah. So I think Lost Records kind of fits in with, with that group of things. What are your predictions for the next month's state of play? God of War, I think, needs to happen. Ghost needs to happen. I'm gonna steal off of yours. More Death Stranding. Horizon multiplayer. Well, I mean, these are kind of the dream. If you actually had that, that would be incredible. And but Sony's really trained us to not expect great things. Yeah, I did, and then I didn't know where you were at with you. I know you did the podcast, I think yesterday, right? So I just beat it last night. So I didn't. What we could maybe do is do like a part 1, part 2. No, but I'll message you in a little bit because now we got to get back together for sure. I just didn't know where you were at with like what you wanted to do with it, and this was kind of thrown together last second as well, even for me. I didn't know if I was hoping I could beat it by today, and I beat it last night at like 11:10 at night. So it was kind of it wasn't rushed. I think I beat it in a natural time. But no, we'll definitely do something for um, Lost Records. I'm gonna do a couple of videos, and then maybe you and I can do like some sort of live stream for kind of the future of it. So check after this, I'll message you and we could talk about it. I have a couple ideas. I just didn't know if everything was going to come together in time, which it didn't. My copy. Oh, nice. A little late. Came out 5 years ago, but no, that's good. So you're not going to get the complete edition. That's sad. Happy Superman Day. That's right. Happy Superman Day. No, appreciate it, buddy. Happy Superman. Oh, of course I'd recommend. Those games are phenomenal. Phenomenal. I really love Survivor. I think the bug situation really, I think, hurt it. But yeah, I didn't really experience that for Star Wars. For that game. When that game came out for me, I mean, at least on PlayStation, whatever I played it on, was running fine. So I know that derailed a lot of people originally. It did not derail it for me. So I really loved it. And then I love both those games. I would love to experience PS showcases. Yeah, I would like a PS experience back in the day. Those were fun. I absolutely think we're still gonna get the Horizon multiplayer. I really believe that. We're getting a new Godzilla console game. The last one was very bad, was it not? Pretty sure I watched Angry Joe do the thing. But yeah, no, the Prototype 3 thing is the greatest thing I've ever heard. What's going on? Good to see you. Don't you normally watch the pirate stuff? This is kind of pirates related, I guess, if you squint and close your eyes. Fallout 3 remake. I feel like Fallout 3 is depends on when I guess season 2 would come out. It might still not be in time. How reliable is the prototype rumor? I wouldn't put it at 100% accuracy, but the individual seems to have gotten some stuff right and seems to be specifically in the know with Activision. So I'd like to believe it because I wouldn't call Prototype one of my favorite franchises, especially because, only one game, in my opinion, is good. The second game's fine. The story is not good. But yeah, I don't know. Prototype is Prototype 1 is an incredibly special game that we need to build on. So I haven't seen anything other than that last time a couple months ago when there was that one rumor that Johnny Depp would come back, which I did, I think, a video on. That's the last we heard of it. So we're almost halfway through the freaking year again. Like, come on, we got to get turn in that script and be done with it so we can start filming and all that stuff. It just feels like it's in limbo. Oh no, I didn't mean Angry Joe about The Last of. I know, and he didn't like Last of Us Part 2 either. But I was talking about him. There was a Godzilla, very low budget console game a little while ago, and I remember him doing a video on it. That's what I was talking about. Early 2026 for the show. Yeah, there's no. I don't believe that the game would be ready for that one. Here's the thing, as I've said before, I think that's accurate. I do think that's accurate, and I think that they are dumb enough to, like, do it. They should not need the movie doing well to convince them to make a game. I just feel like that is absolutely ridiculous for them to think, okay, we need the movie to prove that Superman is a popular thing. That is insane that that would even be a thing. Do I believe that's possible? They actually are operating with that mentality. Yes, I actually believe they're that dumb. But this shouldn't be. We should already have a Superman game in development. I liked the 5-minute thing, that like clip. I don't think I needed to have watched it, and maybe like in the future I won't watch it, but I'm excited for it. Honestly, I'm really excited for Superman. So it comes out on my sister's birthday. I'll actually, I think, be visiting my parents uh when that comes out. So I think I'll be seeing it with my familia. Um So yeah, but I plan on seeing Superman. It's one of the only movies I'm gonna see in theaters. I'm gonna see Revenge of the Sith next week for the 20th anniversary. Can't freaking wait. Watched it 20 years ago in theaters as well as just a young boy, and now I'm a young man. I'm gonna watch Revenge of the Sith. I want to watch Ballerina. Those are probably the two. Revenge of the Sith, Ballerina, Superman. We'll see. Fantastic Four, I might. It does look pretty good. So, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. I feel I don't feel as connected as I once did. Well, and I appreciate it. Well, I feel, you guys are giving me your time being here, listening to me ramble, so I should give you the respect back, and anything you want within reason, anything you want to talk about, I'm willing to, go back and forth with. Oh man, yeah, the James Bond game I've been waiting for what feels like an eternity. I just watched, and I wish I remembered his name. I don't shout people out as much as I honestly should. There's a YouTuber that did a really good. He played like every hit, one of those like I played every game of a series, which I want to do that one day on Back to the Past, by the way. But there was a YouTuber that played every Hitman game, and bigger than me in terms of size, got like 140K or so subscribers. I forget the guy's name, but he did a really good job, and it got me like. Not only was I like, oh yeah, Hitman. I've always heavily respected Hitman as a phenomenal franchise, but then I remembered, oh yeah, I kind of want to go back and play the Hitman games, and then oh yeah, James Bond is gonna 007 game is gonna freaking rule, because they're just, I think, generally masters of the craft. They've stumbled, but they haven't stumbled, I think, all that recently, except for the episodic type thing that they did with 1 and 2 or whatever that was. Yeah, I feel like it's a must. You got to watch Superman. Well, you don't have to, but that's definitely one thing I'm gonna go to see in the movies. Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't even remember what's coming out in the fall. I kind of want to see Mission Impossible, but I actually didn't see the last Mission Impossible, so that's something I need to fix. I think I will eventually watch Mission Impossible, but I don't know if I'll do it in theaters. Kane? I don't know what Kane is. So I'm not into the movie scene. And yeah, I'm not. I mean, Jurassic World thing, people say that it's supposed to be like very horror sided, right? It's supposed to be like definitely more horror vibes. So that's cool, I guess. But I mean, the Jurassic World movies have just been, to me, mostly good dumb fun. Like they're not amazing. They're not the second one was terrible, I thought, but generally I kind of just had fun with them. So I don't really have. I'm not a big James. Like, I love Daniel Craig. I think he did, a great job. But I'm not like a big historical. Like, I've seen like Quantum of Solace or whatever, maybe that one. But so more like recent. But yeah, I've seen a couple of like the older ones from beginning to end, but I have not seen all of them, and I wouldn't consider myself like a die. I just think like IO Interactive making a Bond game is a freaking match made in heaven, and I think that would work really well. But I'm not like a diehard. Oh yeah. I do remember that. He is getting his own movie. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Let's see. Do you think the next Lost Records game will be better, or do you think it'll be another? Um, well, the first Life is Strange, I genuinely think is a masterpiece in a lot of ways. I do not think Lost Records is a masterpiece in almost any way. So when it comes to topping Lost Records, I think they can improve upon it. I think they can kind of like refine their craft. They clearly do certain things they do very well. You know what I mean? And they're experts at certain things. So I feel like if you were to just, take even the same characters, depends, I guess, but I think you could use the same characters and really continue to evolve them and continue to just go into the mystery of the abyss and just continuing that story. I feel like you could make a better game. I think like a second game would absolutely be better than the first game, and that should be the expectation. I legitimately think you could do it because I think tape two, like I said, I think tape two had a lot of improvements, did some good things, but then also did some bad things. So it's kind of just like the consistency, I guess, But I'm rooting for them. I want a second game. I want Don't Nod to still be around. I've said before, like I want a Banisher's Ghost of New Eden too. That's never going to happen. So at this point, Lost Records is all we got. Give me Lost Records. Give me a couple new franchises, I guess, is probably what they're working on. And, go from there. Well, Mission Impossible game, like, it's kind of like, it's interesting because you think like, I was going to say, you don't necessarily think that Indiana Jones needs his own game because like Uncharted is kind of the Indiana Jones of game, but there's a lot of like high octane actiony, like larger than life, almost stuntmen type thing in gaming. But then it's like, well, also Indiana Jones did get a game and it was extremely good. So like, could you legitimately do like a Tom Cruise, like, those characters and put it into a game? I actually think you could. I don't think it's necessary. Just like I actually, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a phenomenal game, one of the better games of last year. I don't really think it was necessary. I don't think you needed to do an Indiana Jones game, but they did, and it worked, and it was fantastic. I think it's the same thing for Mission Impossible. Like if we never got one, we have games that are close enough. So I don't think we need one, but that doesn't mean, don't ever do it. Oh, I believe you. I'm just not, Pirates of the Caribbean, as you know. But yeah, as I've gotten older, not that I'm that old, but as I've gotten older, I've had to kind of like pick my lane when I've chosen games, and I feel really good with my knowledge and my ability to talk about games, and old and new. And for me, that requires like constant. I try to play games every day, if not maybe every 2 or 3 days. But I have to give up stuff. I've given up playing guitar a good amount of time. I've given up movies generally, just because I literally only have so much time in the day. It sucks. It kind of sucks, but I feel good. I feel good about yeah. I'll tell you this, Parker. I've thought of like, could I one day do a movie channel? Maybe. It's definitely not gonna happen, in the next couple of years, but I've thought about it. I think I want to keep what I have, in gaming as gaming. And then if I were to do something on movies, I would spin it off into its own channel. But it's kind of a good idea because Back to the Past could also apply to movies as well. But I'm going to keep it on games, specifically that channel. If I were to do a movie channel, I would triple down and do that. Doing a movie channel, I actually think would be easier because a 2-hour movie from 20 years ago is still a 2-hour movie. A 50-hour game from 20 years ago is still a 50-hour game. You still have to play that 50 hours, but a movie is just a movie, So it actually, would I have more time on my hands if I talked about movies versus games? Yes, I'd actually have probably 80% of the time lifted off my shoulder, but I prefer games. I think gaming is the better medium, and I don't think that's a hot take, but that's my take. Take-Two is the worst game studio. Really. I think, in terms of like sleazy, slimy behavior, I don't. It's tough because GTA Online probably did have waves like across the industry, but I feel like EA is worse, Ubisoft is worse. Nintendo just kind of showed that it was a little bit worse. Xbox hates preservation. PlayStation hates a lot of things. I feel like everybody's kind of bad. I don't really know who is good anymore. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Capcom. Capcom is still elite. I think Sega in a lot of eyes is still elite. But yeah, I actually don't think so. I wouldn't agree there. But I mean everybody's kind of bad. So Take-Two is, can be bad. But they're all kind of bad. So Half-Life, that Half-Life 3 thing keeps popping up. Pops up, goes away, pops up, goes away. Maybe it happens. Maybe we get a Half-Life 3. I just don't want to get my hopes up, on something so crazy. I'd love a Left 4 Dead, but I don't think they'll ever do a Left 4. I mean, Turtle Rock, they've all left and all that jazz. So I think it's Turtle Rock, right? So yeah. Yeah, that Mind's Eye game I want to like, but I just can't. I'll just say, just to be honest, nothing about it has really stood out to me yet. And I'm still willing to be won over by it, but I've not, just factually and honestly, I've not been won over by Mind's Eye yet. I think it does look interesting, does have something to it, but it hasn't grabbed me yet. And maybe it will afterwards. I think a game like RoboCop maybe was similar, where that game looked fine and I never gave it a chance, and then it came out and people, for what it was, people absolutely loved RoboCop. And then I got it physically half a year ago. Still haven't played it, but I do have it. So, and that's a game that I legitimately wanted after I heard. I sometimes have to be won over too. Sometimes I don't know everything, and I need to see the game when it's fully out and realize, oh yeah, I should have kept my eye on that more, because I can't do that for every game. Yeah, GTA is going to be $90. I think GTA at least is going to be $80. So standard edition. Yeah. Well, they're all bad. They're all bad. Actually, I didn't even mention WB. I don't know how you could talk about studios that don't know what they're doing and not mention WB Games there. And again, by the way, I say all of these. I truly believe I always say these things with love, with passion. That all I want is good games. Like I think a lot of people out there are kind of grifters and are looking for drama and looking for games to be bad, and they kind of want that. And to burn the industry to then rebuild it. I can get that mindset to a degree. But I also I don't know, I live in the now. I try to, and I just want good games. So when things don't work out, I just want a good game. So I'm willing to have second chances. I'm willing to, all of that stuff. I just want games to be really good, and every game to be good. Or every game that I like to be, you know what I mean? So, I never root for things to go bad. Even if maybe going bad is what's best, to go bad so badly to then rebuild. I'm a fan of the Buffalo Sabres in hockey, and they had to go so bad to then get good, and that just didn't even work. But I actually was with them for that arc, so I get that mentality. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's a $2 billion game. That's the first thing I would say. But then secondly, I think I would just stick to my point that I've said kind of for a couple of years. I think whatever price GTA is, people are going to buy it. I don't think that's going to change. So, yeah, I feel like it'll get away with whatever it wants to get away with. To me, the pricing is just about the industry following it. If a game is a bad price or it raises prices, it's not even necessarily that game. I think Mario Kart is worth $80. I genuinely do. But it's more of okay, well, what other games or publishers see that and say, we want our games to be $80 now? And that falls on Nintendo. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I stand. I think GTA can get away with whatever price, and I think it probably would be worth it to a degree. But to me, the insult is what other studios then do, because are all games worth $80, $90, $100? No. In fact, most games are not. Most games are not even worth $60 or $70, So, yeah, I think everybody kind of has the spare hundo just ready, What's going on, James Tukino? Watch your Chronos video. Yes. Retrieval. That sounds very. Or no, I think I'm thinking of Reanimal, which is the one from the Little Nightmares. Retrieval. No, is I'll have to look that one up. Is that made from the Spec Ops The Line guy? Because I saw a clip of that. There's like a horror game from the guy who did Spec Ops The Line, and Spec Ops The Line, of course, is an all-time classic. So, let me write that down. Retrieval. No, I'll check that out. No, that Chronos game continues actually to just sound the idea of like, you got to watch out which enemies you kill because then they can suck up those enemies and become more powerful. I think that game is going to freaking rock. I think we have something very special on our hands there. I think you're well, the internet, my internet's pretty good. I don't know about this internet, but it might not be very strong. No, everything's okay. I think on my end. Maybe it'll bounce back. We'll see. I'll head off in just a few minutes anyway, so. Screen is frozen. I thought it was my phone. Oh, there we go. Well, it might be back. There we go. Just fixed it. Sometimes I use OBS, and then when I do kind of more of these sit-down streams, I like to like have your comment pop up like this. In order to, I guess I could do other things on OBS, but this is just very easy, and I'm kind of dumb. So, so I do this through StreamYard, which I pay for. And then, sometimes the Wi-Fi, I don't know. It's holding it together pretty okay. It does the green screen pretty well, honestly. Oh, GTA will totally, well, maybe not the base game, but obviously the multiplayer will. Well, the thing with Ubisoft is it's tough because the heads I don't think will ever step down. So I don't think they'll ever sell the majority stake. But it's clearly them and Tencent, It's just them. I got GTA 5 when it came out. I was in kindergarten. Oh my god. My god. You got it? Wait, you got it when you played GTA 5 when you were like 5 years old? I don't know if you should have been doing. Well, that's not up to me. That's not up to me to tell you. I guess it's your parents at the time. But wow. I got GTA 5 when it first came out. I played it at my cousin's house, and I wasn't as blown away as I think people. I think I've been more blown away by Red Dead. But I highly respect GTA, and I'm going through the series on Back to the Past. I've done a video on GTA 3. I did Vice City, and now I'm almost done with San Andreas. Actually, I'll show you. I'll show you live. I've been playing it behind the scenes, and there'll be a video on Back to the Past maybe in May or June. But there you go. Platinum hits. I don't love that, but at least I can actually play this on the Xbox Series X, and I just do it through this. So that's pretty cool. So I got San Andreas, and then I'm going to do GTA 4 next, sometime maybe in June or July. I'll play GTA 4, and then we got to play 5, and we're done. God of War 2 when I was 11. Yeah, that's probably too young. That's young. That's young to be playing God of War. But hey, people watch their first scary movies when they're around 10, 11, 12, and I think they, most people will say they did that too young, but they do it anyway. But I remember my friend, very close friend, still talk to him to this day. He lived 3 houses from an older. And when I say older, I mean like maybe 10 years older than him or 10 years older than us. And he had God of War. And I remember going over to my friend's house, and then we would go over to his house. And I don't even think we were supposed to do that. We would go over to his house, and he played God of War 1 and 2. And I would see kind of like just a couple hours here and there. But I was young. I probably was also 9, 10, 11 years old, but I didn't do it myself. So yeah. Oh my god. I never want. Yeah. No, I don't really think it like that. I don't really believe in the whole, we had that arc politically back in the day of like, what do games cause? I think gaming is actually quite healthy, for like your mind and reaction time and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really. I just feel I don't know. I think like the language, maybe the violence, but that's pretty young to be playing it. But hey, what are you gonna do? When I have a decent paying job. I wish we all had decent paying jobs, including myself. But no, that's fair. Fifth grade. I don't remember. Well, when did GTA 5 come out? 20. Oh, I don't even know. I don't even remember. 2013? Or no, or was it 2012? Oh God. I don't remember. I was young. I wasn't that young. I was a teenager when that came out. About 10. Oh my God. I have to remember when it came out. I don't know. I really should probably look that up, how long it took to make Lost Records. I would hope, we talk about Life is Strange taking about 3 years. I'd really hope Lost Records has only taken, and I only say that because like I do want a Lost Records too. I don't want to wait 10 years. And Don't Not also needs to like go quick, right? Because they're like kind of falling apart financially. So they can't wait 6, 7 years to make their next game. They got to do it 2 or 3 years. And I think you could actually come back rather quickly with the Lost Records too. Like I really believe you could do that. I really like the gameplay of the new God of War, but I do actually prefer the older style. 2013. Okay. So 12. Oh, I was a late teenager. I was 17. I had just turned 17 then when it came out. I did watch the behind the scenes video. Yeah, I saw that today. 2013, man. So 2013. So it came out right before. It came out in September, right? And then Next Gen came out in November. So Next Gen only lost it only beat Next Gen by 2 months. Oh, well, you're asking me. I've been petitioning for that for years. Give us. I think in Among Us I think Among Us helps the odds of a Scream game because they'd be so similar. But an Until Dawn, or an Until Dawn literally mixed with Among Us, I think would be the perfect Scream game. I mean, you give me like 100 million, and I'll make it for you, okay? And it'll be the greatest thing you could imagine. I promise. Yeah, I was 17. I just turned it. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I think I might go back and check out Skull and Bones. Once they did that update announcement, I think when land fights or whatever, like hand-to-hand fighting comes out, I think maybe I'll do a video on Back to the Past of playing. I was considering doing it like playing Skull and Bones a year later. I was considering that anyway, but I actually might do it for like the 1.5 year anniversary just to see what's going on there. Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, it feels like it's been that long. It doesn't feel, that feels like the right amount of time. Yeah, no, Directive 20, 80/20. Well, I don't know. The Among Us thing, I don't know about that because it's a dark pictures game, right? So a choice-based game, tell your own, or no, choose your own adventure. But the twist is that they're the alien creatures that can like shapeshift, right? So I don't think that literally makes it Until Dawn. I think that's just like the gimmick, which is still cool. Like I'm not saying a gimmick isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I don't think it all of a sudden literally becomes like Among Us as a game. I think it's just got elements of like a whodunit type thing. And so it could be cool. I really hope that's a good game. You're telling me. You're telling me. I really hope we get it. I believe he will. I believe he will. So, God, I hope so. God, I hope so. But they got to freaking get going. It's been they got to start. That's true. The thing in space. Yeah, that's actually the better. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If anything, Among Us and the shape shifting thing, right, where you just don't know. That's a good comparison. That's a good comparison. Okay, guys. Anything else? We started with Lost Records. We still covered a lot of Lost Records, I think, but we also explored the depths of other topics. But Let me know if there's anything else. Tomorrow, Christy and I will be live playing something on Podcast Now Plus. I'm going to have some Lost Records specific videos over the next couple of days. Got 3 videos in mind. So definitely will be pretty heavy. I'm going to cover the Star Wars game that will be shown off. I think it's going to get shown off at like 2 a.m. my time because it's in Japan. So it gets shown off very, very early or very late tonight is that Zero Company game. So tomorrow, as soon as I wake up and I'm able to do it, I'll do a video on Star Wars. I prefer the game. I definitely I love the gameplay of the new God of War. I just think 3 was kind of like the peak, you know. But they're both extremely good. And no worries, guys. No worries, no worries. I do. Yep, go ahead, fire away. I'll give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes to fire away the final questions. Yeah, I like the Fantastic Four trailer. I saw a lot of like it was the greatest thing. I always see that, I guess. I guess I probably shouldn't keep saying that so often because I always see, oh, it's the greatest thing. This is the greatest thing. That's the greatest thing. But rarely rarely is it actually the greatest thing, you know? Yes. Yeah, if she's a gigantic Life is Strange fan, especially Life is Strange, or even if she's into the Don't Nod Life is Strange games, like 1 and 2, I think you gotta do it for her. You know, honestly. I think I think she deserves it. You know, no, it's a solid game. It's a solid game that I think you can definitely tell is Don't Nod, and you can definitely like get the vibes of like Life is Strange. I don't think it's as good as Life is Strange 1, but if she's diehard into that, I think she owes it to herself to check out, you know, what's next for them. But like I said, I mean, honestly, when it comes to Don't Nod, they already were back. You know, last year. It's not the same type of game, but Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden, I think, is their second best game they've ever created. Life is Strange 1, Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden, and that's it. You know, like any of the other games are far, far below those 2 games to me. So, Banishers is a very different type of game. It does not give off Life is Strange vibes, but it's just got some of the best writing I think you'll see in a video game. I truly believe that. So I think they've been back since last year. In fact, I think this is actually a downgrade, you know, but this is some of the minds that made Life is Strange. Yeah, and there's always, games to go back to. Um, there's always new experiences from games that you even missed. I mean, I still haven't played like hundreds, if not thousands, of games in the past that I want to one day, get accustomed to. So there's always something to play. Truthfully, if you stopped making video games right now, you'd still have enough entertainment for most of like your life, I think, because there's just been so many great games and the replay ability of a lot of them are very good, so I think actually it'd be quite fine. Yeah, no, it's a cheap. Yeah, you see Destin for being priced at 40. I mean, it's a PS Plus game too. If you have PS Plus, you get it for free, and then it's also only $40. So it's not unreasonable. It's not $80. It's a short game. It'll only take you 8 to 10 hours to beat, but short, concise. To the point. Even though tape 1, I think does drag. I think that's kind of an issue with it. But yeah, tape 2 is a lot faster. But overall, short, condensed thing. Yeah, I beat it. I got the bad ending, and then I went and I watched the good ending, and I feel fine. Like it's not as heartbreaking. You think about the ending of Life is Strange 1 and how that went, and that's something that I feel like you'd want to, like, if you saw the other ending, you'd want to play it and say, okay, I need to get the other, whichever the ending might be. When it comes to Lost Records, I don't know. I beat it. I felt isolated. I'll say that without spoiling it. Like I felt alone. And then I was like, well, what's the other ending? And then I watched it and I said, you know what? I feel like both endings make sense because they're also not like the most drastic. They're not the most drastic of all time. It's not that much of a difference between the one ending and the other. Like without spoiling, I will do a video and I'll get into a spoiler, like actual going into it. But yeah. I think we would hear, if this prototype thing is real, I feel like maybe we would see it at the Xbox event in June. That would be my guess and my hope. And if that happens, if we got, we got a new Life is Strange game. I know how it went, but we got a Life is Strange game with Max that was announced last year at Xbox's event. If we get a prototype game with Alex Mercer this year's Xbox, they are on such the streak of their lifetime. You know what I mean? It'd be insane. So I'm rooting for that. Nerdy Giant, what's going on, buddy? Yes, hopefully Wolverine. Really? Did you do that because I've been doing it right here? How did you know? Did I tell you I was playing it? I'll be honest. I'll be honest to your unpopular opinion. This is the best one of 3, Vice City and San Andreas. I think San Andreas does laps around the other 2. I think this makes 3 and Vice City look not very good. So if you don't like this, have you played 3 and Vice City recently? Because I don't think those games are. I think this game is actually much, much better than those 2 games. 4 is my all-time favorite. I think GTA 4 is a masterpiece in every way. I can't wait. I truly cannot wait for Expedition 33. I did the video yesterday on Expedition 33, and that's one that I'm trying to. I think I can say. I'm trying 2 different ways to get a code for Expedition 33. I highly doubt it's going to happen. Maybe I would get a code the day it comes out, at best case. But also, it's on Game Pass, so it's like I don't need them to give me a. If they're going to give me a code the day it comes out, I can just play it for free through Game Pass, and I don't have the pressure, of them giving me something. But I've been trying. Like, I really would want it early, just because I can't wait. I can't freak. I think Expedition 33 is going to be one of the better games of this year. I truly, genuinely believe that. Maybe we'll do this type of live stream on Expedition 33 once I think we will. Honestly, I think we will. Once I beat it, we'll do some sort of live stream for Expedition 33. Oh, you're 3 comments to get to exactly how you wanted to say it. There you go. Yeah. I actually think it's pretty okay. I think you need to play. Maybe it's biasness because I've played 3 Vice City and now this. I've played it in the last like 4 months. So I've kind of gone back to back to back. So I'm seeing like the evolution of GTA kind of live, and it's not even close. I think this is the game that really took it to a new level. I'm like I said, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with a lot of what they did in San Andreas. I don't agree with Nerdy Giant. I think the vibes are good. I think the story is quite good. I think the characters are good. I think the diversity in the levels is at a whole new level in San Andreas. So this is not a San Andreas stream, but yeah. Not sure if you heard, but Kazan First Berserker DLC. I still need to play that just in general. I have been keeping my eye on it, though. A sleeper hit of 2025. I genuinely think Expedition 33 is going to be that. There you go. Yeah. No, I really love San Andreas. I'm having like a lot of fun. But 4 is better. But I've only played 4 one time, so it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to go back to 4, which I'll do in a couple months. But I'm really excited to play 4 again, because I'm going to try to do everything, including even the DLCs. And yeah. 3 is tough. 3 is tough. Vice City, I think, you can see the improvement. I think each one gets better. I think Vice City is better than 3 by a lot. I think San Andreas is better than Vice City by a lot. I really feel like GTA reached what it wanted to be when it got to 4. I think that is a GTA game. I think up until that point, it was trying to be that. And then I think they've refined it, ever since they did it. But this is becoming, maybe we'll do a San Andreas stream on Back to the Past. I don't know if maybe we could do that. Maybe people will be interested in that. All right, guys. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for sticking with me. Like I said, Lost Records videos, Star Wars videos, lots of other stuff. Happy early Easter. Christy and I will be live tomorrow night on Podcast Now Plus. And then next week, no streams. And the week after, we'll come back. And depending on how far I get, maybe we'll do an Expedition 33 type thing. Okay, that's kind of the plan right now. I think 4 will get a remaster after 6 comes out. That's my opinion for GTA 4. Okay, guys, thanks for being here, and I'll see you all on the next one.